rolling. Thank you. Perfect timing. That was the next thing I was going to ask you guys. So how's everybody doing? Well, you can't talk, so I can't hear you. What are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. Um, hey, I want to start out before we even get into it with a huge congratulations. We are officially the number 100% company in Chicagoland. Um, I'm actually going to start out with a couple statistics. I usually do this just so you guys know the way that my brain works is I watch the marketplace, and then our goal is always to exceed the marketplace. So if we're doing better than the market, then we're doing our job. We're growing properly. We're selling more than just about everybody out there, all those kinds of things. So just a couple of quick stats for you. Um, in all of MLS, the entire MLS for the Chicagoland area, this is interesting because across the country, this number varies drastically. If you go out to California, parts of California are down 40%. Parts of Florida are down 5 to 10%. Other parts are up. Um, Illinois right now are our multiple listing service. And even this 2.9 number is regional. There's areas that are down much more than this. There's areas that are down much less than this. And there's areas that are actually up. But as a whole, our multiple listing service is down 2.9%. That's not horrible. We knew we were coming into a little different market this year. We knew inventory was initially low. It looks like that has been turning around. Inventory has been growing drastically. And ironically, volume is up 5.3%. So if transaction count is down and volume is up, what's happening? Prices are increasing drastically. Us HomeSmart Connect, we are actually up 10% in units and we're up 18% in volume. So we're either attacking higher price points or what I think is there's in our particular marketplace, there's been some drastic changes as far as pricing. So it's good to see. Those are very, very healthy numbers. Commissions, ironically, are up 16%. And the reason I say ironically is after this whole NAR lawsuit, the biggest point of the NAR lawsuit, or a large point of the NAR lawsuit, was realtors were making too much. The net effect of this is going to bring down commissions. I've seen a couple of very vague reports across the country about commissions actually coming down, but from the meetings that I'm on and the brokers that I talk to, and us specifically, we're up 16%. A big part of that is a lot of you guys in your listing agreements, and I hope you're all doing this. If you're charging, let's say, for instance, you're charging 2.5%, there's actually a place in our listing agreement that allows you to charge 2.5 plus 450. And it's easy to explain. The 450 is just a company fee. A lot of our agents, I'd say more than half of you guys are doing that. And the co-op commission, when there was a co-op offering, there was usually a minus 250, minus 350, minus 450, which went away. I think that has a big part to do with commissions. But a lot of you guys are also holding tight to getting, a fair commission or getting a decent number as well. Our pending sales are also up 12%. So it looks like our last quarter, not only are our numbers good so far for the first 3 quarters, it looks like they're going to do even better. So very, very excited about that. Year to date, all company, MRED MLS, we are number 10 in total closed transactions in the entire MLS. So I'm not even sure if it's Ad Properties, Compass, Coldwell Banker. If you take those top 10 companies, ironically, we moved up in a position with MRED. I don't know how much you guys are. I'm not going to get into huge detail about it, but MRED breaks down its board of directors based on the categories that you're in. There are only 10 companies in the top category, the number 1 category. I'm actually running for that board of directors this year. I'm hoping I win it. But we're finally in the top 10 companies. We've been holding in the top 10, and we're very, very close to hitting number 9. But we are the number 1 company in not only agent count and transactions, as far as when you're comparing it to other 100% companies. There's one other company in our marketplace whose agent count is almost identical to us, but they are the next highest. Their sales are almost half of what we do. And what that says to me is that the quality of the agents that they're bringing on is not as good, or the quality of the agents that we're bringing on, is exceptional. And we are still the number 1 franchise in the country. We do more volume than any other franchise in the country. There are other franchises that have higher agent count, but we are the number one as far as as far as transactions. There are companies that have higher agent count, but not transaction count. And the next highest in the country is somewhere around 2,200. So we're knocking it out of the park right now. Very, very proud of you guys. You guys, very good quality people doing good quality sales. So we continue to grow. We've had 45 new agents in the last 90 days. I hope Andrea's on the phone. I think you guys all know Andrea. She's been doing a hell of a job. Ironically, in the past, we've talked about, can we recruit more if we bring on another recruiter? And quite frankly, I have no intentions of doing that. Andrea can certainly handle the load. And if we can bring new leads to her, she can bring that many more on. So she's been fantastic. We continue to grow. We're at 842 agents today. I wanted to send out a big thanks because one of the big ways that we grow, I think you guys know this, of those 45 in the last 90 days, 28 came directly from you guys, from one of you guys in the marketplace going, hey, you ought to come over here. This is a good place to work, and introducing them to us or introducing them to Andrea and bringing everybody on board. So personal thank you to everybody that's on this list. I can't thank you enough. That is our core business, is you guys referring everybody. And the reason there's $100 up there is I think you guys know, there's a $100 bonus just for, if you give us a name, you have to give it to us in advance. But if they come on board, we cut you a $100 check for $100. Special thanks to these 7 people, Dorothy, Kelly, Jamie, Rose, Brad, Sony. It's kind of her job to bring people on, so I can't give her I'll give you kudos. Just joking. But thank you. You guys have brought on more than one. And Gabriel, God bless you, brought in 5. And this is just year to date. This is just from January until now. So this is obviously somebody who, sees value in what we're doing and, wants to share it with the people that they like. So with that said, full disclosure, what I like to do in this meeting is going to be a little bit different than some of the other meetings that we've had. This is me sharing what our plan is for you, some of the things that we've been doing, some of the things that we're going to be seeing. We've been working our tail off. I think most of you know about a lot of the new office openings and some of the stuff that is coming. But I like to share. I like to be completely honest with everybody and share with you exactly
I think so.
our position and what our
Somebody
plan
must
is
be running a lot.
moving forward. Hey, if somebody can hit whoever's talking mute, if you can mute them, please. So whenever you're building a company, there's a stage for business growth. And this is something that I learned a long time ago. It's something that I learned from a very good friend of mine. This is no different, and my business is no different than your business. These are the categories that you kind of go through. So let's say, for instance, it all starts with forming up on the top. You're forming a business. You're either just got in the business, or there's some of you that have been in the business for a while, and all of a sudden you decided, hey, I'm going to shift the way I do my business. I really like Brian Buffini. I'm going to shift everything towards working my sphere of influence. You're going to go through these 4 stages. Forming is, hey, okay, I'm going to put this together. What's the first thing I need to do? I need to gather my database. I need to figure out what I'm going to send to them. I'm going to figure out what my pop buys are, all those kinds of things. You're going to start setting a plan. Storming is when you put that plan in motion and you start working on those things, and you're going to stumble. You're going to be, okay, that pop by gift wasn't quite great, or maybe I should take that person off my list, or I'm feeling awkward about, talking to people. That's kind of where, or actually, well, let me take a step back. And then you go into norming, and norming is where, okay, this feels comfortable. I'm stopping by their house on a regular basis. I'm mailing to them on a regular basis. And performing is, it's working. Everything's coming in. Things tend to be flowing fairly quickly or as designed. Our business, or my business, goes through this exact same thing. Forming, obviously, in the beginning was when we first started. Now forming is opening new offices, creating new challenges, doing system changes, those kinds of things. We're past most of that, or we're almost constantly, the way my brain works, we're almost constantly informing. Right now, we're somewhere between storming and norming. And the reason I wanted to share that with you is storming and norming is when you go through that change, when you're you're trying to get your team together, you're trying to get everybody settling in. And it's when there's some disruption. There's some, things maybe don't feel as comfortable. It's when all the change happens. And change is never comfortable for anybody. I mean, I know a lot of you guys familiar with some of the changes we've made as far as opening offices, some of the personnel changes, and you're going to see a lot more of that. We're trying to get, and I believe within the next probably 60 to 90 days, we will get to a norming stage. Now, I'll tell you, with these 3 or these 4 processes in my brain, there are really only 3. Because as soon as we get to norming, the way my brain works is I want to start forming something else. Okay, great. Things are buzzing, things are going good. Okay, what can I do next? Now, with me, it's a lot of different things. I do rehabs on the side. Excuse me, I handle a lot of new construction right now. So there's always something else. But right about when it gets to the norming stage, I'm usually firing up a new project. So just kind of keep that in mind. But the biggest thing is between this storming and norming is change. And that's the only way you can grow. If you don't change, you don't grow. If you don't grow, we're not really living. Growth demands temporary surrender of security. So we take chances. We make changes. We stick our neck out a little bit. Opening offices, personnel changes, those are probably our 2 biggest keys. We're starting to get to a norming stage with personnel. We're still not quite there in all departments, but that is our focus. Mine, Sonia's, our entire leadership team. A couple people I want to introduce you if you haven't met them already. Christina, I always mess up your last name too, Christina. I say Wegenecht. I hope that's right. But
You said
Christina's
it right.
taken
That was
over.
perfect.
Perfect. Thank you. She's taken over our front desk team. We are looking to add additional staff members to the front desk team. We're looking to add additional staff in a lot of different places. And in a minute, you'll see why, because of some of the things we're looking for from a growth standpoint. So we really appreciate Christina. I've had some phenomenal feedback with her. If you haven't already said hello, call the front desk or send her an email, reach out, say, hey, nice to meet you or whatever. Or give her a compliment if she does something nice for you. Hopefully she does. I know one person that will do something nice for just about everybody. If you haven't already met her, Annalisa Eldridge. She is the one on the right, not the one on the left, but this is the only picture she gave me. I know she's at Wrigley Field, but she's a Oakland A's fan, so we'll forgive her. I saw her in a picture with a black hat, and I thought for sure she was a White Sox fan, and no offense to the White Sox fans out there. I'm a huge Cubs fan, but she's the one that's in charge of cutting your commissions now. We've been getting a lot of compliments on her, and she's really gotten into a groove now working with the rest of the bookkeeping team. Big change, Deborah McCoy, if you haven't seen already, is in charge, or our director of training now. She's been putting on a ton of events and putting together a lot of education calendars. In fact, I just goofed. Give me just 1 second. A lot of education events and trying to keep it structured so that you guys know what's coming on down the pike on a regular basis. I'm gonna scoot around. These are some of the events if you haven't already seen them. I'm gonna show you where you can find some of these in a minute. But I believe there's also, if we're not already there, we're working on bulletin boards in just about every office. So hey, if you have a day free, or hey, maybe there's a item on here that you see that you really want to look into. We've had a number of our staff and vendors that have volunteered. Mario put on a phenomenal listing presentation, a couple of weeks ago that I've heard a lot of really, really good feedback. Edita is doing a fix and flip one. Joe Prindle does a regular session. Of course, Diane Morales is always fantastic with, and I'm going to always get it wrong, Work Together Wednesdays. I hope that's right. But they've been doing some fantastic stuff. So Anna Morado is new to us as well. Anna, a lot of you guys, especially the seasoned agents, probably won't have a lot of interaction with Anna. What we're trying to do is when a new agent comes over, and you probably remember this when you first joined us, you come over to HomeSmart and all of a sudden you get an email, a long email about here's how you do this, here's how you do that, here's how you do this. But it's Spanish to you. It's a foreign language to you. You don't completely get everything. Anna is actually tasked with sitting down with every new agent that comes through and for whatever it takes, half hour, hour, 2 hours, if whatever time they need to make sure that they get their business in sync with our systems. So they understand the RSA, they understand the RSB, they understand our back office system, our agent dashboard, all the things that we've been doing. And lastly, Corey Ringa. Corey is a transaction coordinator. We've actually partnered with Corey. She has been absolutely phenomenal. If you're not already familiar with her or you're looking for a transaction coordinator, she's been handling a pretty heavy load. Not crazy expensive, does a phenomenal job. She is a licensed agent, so she can answer some of those licensed questions for your clients. If you're not already using her, I encourage you to. And we'll show you how to get a hold of all these people in just a moment. Agent dashboard. If you have not already seen this, I was shocked. I've had a couple of conversations in the last couple of weeks, and I've had agents go, well, wait a minute, where do I get that? I go, well, haven't you seen the agent dashboard? So many of you guys have not seen this. The URL is right here in the middle of this page. It is homesmartconnection.com. Not HomeSmart Connect, but homesmartconnection.com. And this is an agent dashboard where you can get anything that you need to run your business. You should get just about anything that you need. The welcome to HomeSmart right here, when you kick into it, when you click on that upper left-hand corner, within that area will give you a breakdown of all the staff. So let's say you have a commission that's not getting paid. And you're like, who the heck do I talk to? That's where you end up going to, and there will be a staff roster in there that'll give you Annalise's contact information. So you're able to go directly to her. Our Connect MLS, obviously, Real Smart Agent, our RSA. Documents, the ladies, Sony actually created this. And I'm very impressed and proud that she created this. Not only is HomeSmart International working on duplicating this dashboard, I just saw that MRED is looking at duplicating this dashboard as well. And they looked at our model and said, oh my gosh, that's a great, simple way for agents to get everything that they need. But you can see on the bottom here, linking to Smart Title, .loop, Helping Hands. If you guys aren't familiar with Helping Hands, we're not going to go through all that a whole lot, other than I'll throw a thank you out to all of our sponsors who sponsored that river cruise that we ended up doing. We raised about $1,200 for Helping Hands. If you're not familiar with Helping Hands, what it is, it's an internal charity. It is a 501c. It is a internal charity or a local charity for HomeSmart. We ask agents, when you can, to give into the charity, and the point of it is to help out some of your fellow agents. Somebody goes through a tough time. We've had people whose spouses have passed away, who have had challenges with medical issues, children's medical issues, just general issues, taking care of an elderly parent, and Helping Hands guides money, helps them with expenses. So if you need help, click on that. If you want to make a donation, click on that. You can get into Lofty. The transaction coordinator services, this will go directly to Corey Ringa. Google, Showing Time, Central Lock, NetSheets. I don't think I was able to get all of our items posted on here. I tried as best as I could, but great resource for you. What I do is I actually have my homepage. So when I go on to, I use actually Microsoft Edge. When I go on to Microsoft Edge, this is the first thing that pops up. So I can go into anything within the company. Smart Title. Can't thank you guys enough. I know a lot of you guys are supporting our Smart Title attorneys. These are our top 5 year-to-date Smart Title attorneys. Susan Kim, Hal Steinspring, Stephen Miner, Keith Goldberg, Richard Kristen. Richard's very, very new to the group, but he's been doing a lot of business with us. We are paying agents at the table right now. If you're running through a Smart Title, if you're putting something through Smart Title and using one of these attorneys, fantastic. If you have your own attorney, we have a number of others that are already signed up with Smart Title. If they roll it through Smart Title, we will adjust your closing statement so that you are paid at the closing table. So that there's actually 2 checks for our HomeSmart commission. There's a check for our fees, and then there's another check made out to you, the agent, at the closing table, so that you don't have to go through depositing this. The title company will mail us our check. We'll process our portion of it when it gets to you here via mail, but you've got your check where you can walk out of there at closing. So highly encourage you guys to use that.
Will, can I interject on that really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, just this morning we had Smart Title, thanks to Deb McCoy. She had Danny Jenkins doing Smart Title and talking about this. And what we have done is added a new checkbox on the compensation statement that says, yes, I want to get paid today by using Smart Title. Now, if you click on this checkbox, and again, this is just today, so everyone is getting this hot off the presses. If you click on that box, that tells us to have our accounting department, verify that everything is okay with your account, that if it's okay for, the title company to pay the agent whatever their amount is minus the 450, 350, whatever plan you're on, to Home Smart Connect. So we are working on it, just trying to streamline the process and make it even easier and give more clarity to everybody on this.
Love it. Terrific. And like I said, if
Yes.
you don't see your attorney's name on here, let me know. Shoot a note to me directly. I'm happy to give you a list. I think Sonia has a list of the attorneys as well. I still do the accounting for Smart Title right now. That's going to change fairly soon, but right now I'm doing it. So I can tell you if your attorney's on it. If not, we'll get them signed up. It's fairly simple. I do want to share with you, we are going to close an office, and this is new to us. We've never done this before, but we've had an office that's just been struggling. We've been open in this marketplace for 5 years. We are going to close our West Dundee office this fall. It's just been struggling. We've had it in Elgin, we've had it in West Dundee. We actually bought the building, so I own the building. Now, fortunately, the Village of West Dundee is going through a exterior revitalization project, so they're going to pay for part of our cost to revamp the outside of this building, and then we will be selling it. This will probably be towards the end of October. But that's not the only news. There's some good news. New offices opening. You are probably familiar, if you're not already, that we are fully open in Antioch. In fact, we have a rate loan officer over there that just did a barbecue that was fantastic. Joe Prindle is always very, very active over there, helping with training. He's the branch manager. It's surprisingly, for a new office, it's one of our most active offices. Happy to see all that kind of stuff. We are also now open in McHenry. So remember your door code, your 6-digit door code opens any office 24/7. So if you happen to be showing property up in one of these areas, you needed to use an office up there, you're always welcome to. You walk in, the lights go on, your copier code should work, everything should work. And some exciting news, if you haven't already heard, is we are coming to Lake Geneva. We are in the middle of a build out in Lake Geneva right now. We expect to be open somewhere towards the end of October. If you're familiar with Lake Geneva, in this bottom left-hand corner, you can see the Riviera Pier down on the bottom. If you see where that blue handbag is, that's where the Starbucks is. Directly across the street from that is Compass. Compass is actually closing that office. And if you look north of there at 268 Center Street, that's where we're going to be. If any of you guys want to preview the property, it is on a lockbox. If you want to go in there, if you happen to be up there and you just want to see the progression, it's under construction. So I want to know if anybody's going in and make sure that, obviously it's safe, and I've got the permission from the contractor to let folks in there. But we're moving along very, very quickly. Most of the build out is done, or most of the structure is done. We're working on electric and HVAC right now. But like I said, we hope to be open by the end of October. I was hoping the middle of October, but I'll actually be at Growth Summit in the middle of October, and I won't be able to be around to put the final touches on this location. But very excited about this. We've been trying to get up in Lake Geneva for a long time. We've actually been, just so you guys know, we were actually blackballed from Lake Geneva. Whenever we would try to rent an office, we'd look into a building that was all office, and the landlord or the realtor would come back and say, no, the landlord has decided that your use is not conducive with the use of the building. I'm like, it's an office building, right? We're an office. What are you talking about? And one of our agents who was working with us actually was very candid with one of the agents that was showing property, and they actually told them, they said that, we've been blackballed. They've been instructed not to lease us property in the area. When I heard that, it fired me up. You guys, I'll tell you a very short story. With this particular property, we had the same agent that would not allow us to rent another property up the street had this listed. But when we went to go look at the property, it was, I don't want to say one of his flunkies, but one of his team members One of his team members actually was there to open up the door for us. So I asked the team member, I said, I really like to have a relationship with my landlord. Would it be possible for me to meet with the landlord before I can make a decision on it? He says, yeah, sure. So he set up a meeting with the landlord. I sat down with the landlord for a little while. It's only about 15, 20 minutes. And I ran him through a couple of questions, and they were BS questions, to be honest with you. And at the end of the interview, he said, "Can I ask you what was that? What was that all? Why did you want to meet with me? There wasn't really anything important there." And I explained to him how I've been being blackballed in Lake Geneva. They don't want us up there. Um, so he leans over, he goes, "Well, listen, let me tell you something. I have a lease right here, and I like you. Why don't we just sign the lease and I'll hand it over to my agent?" I'm sure the agent was furious, but we are now locked into Lake Geneva and hoping to have a build out completed shortly. So, pricing structure. This is a kind of a biggie. Part of our growth, because we are doing so much transactional volume, part of this is pure being able to have a budget to expand staffing. We are going to make some changes, some not significant changes. Most of you'll find out that it's about the same as you're paying now. It's just you're paying it a little bit differently. For some of you, it'll be a slight increase, but it's not drastic. Um, but it'll help to not only cover the cost of some of the staff members we've got coming in, it'll help with some of our expansion as well. But it also, part of our challenge with bookkeeping is there are so many different pricing structures. And this is something that I was always opposed to with any company I've ever owned. I like to have everybody on one structure. So when bookkeeping looks at something, they know, okay, that's what their monthly charge is, that's what their transaction fee is. Done, we put it all together and it improves the efficiencies. That was another big part of this decision. So our current pricing, you guys are on one of these plans. Plan A, $39 a month. Transaction fee is $495 plus $55 for risk reduction fee, $450 per transaction. Plan B, $99 a month, $350, and then the team plan, $99, $350. Effective January 1, there will only be two plans. Plan A will be $39 a month. The transaction fee is going to $420 and the risk reduction fee to $75. So the overall transaction fee from $450 to $495. In the Plan D, the only thing that is different between Plan A and Plan D, and we can do this because it's automated, your quarterly billing is automated. If you're listed or licensed in 2 states, instead of $39 a month, you'll go to $69 a month. You will be listed twice in the HomeSmart directories, in the websites and so forth. You'll be listed twice, both in Wisconsin and down in whichever office you are located in Illinois. The only other thing I have is we've been having a big problem with agents entering documentation in RSA after a closing. 2 issues with this. We go through an audit. The IDFPR requires that not only the license, the brokerage has a copy on file within 48 hours, but also that the client has been copied on those documents, anything that's signed within 48 hours. So if we get an audit and somebody asks us to pull that file and we don't have that documentation, we're in a lot of trouble. The other thing, the big thing that we're seeing is the people that are doing this, and it's not all of you guys, there's a lot of you guys that are absolutely, phenomenal with your paperwork, and we appreciate it. And I know I always harp on paperwork, but it is important. I don't want to be a test case for IDFPR. But the biggest thing is the majority of these that come in late, the commissions are not accurate. We're not reviewing commission statements in advance, and they're leaving money on the table. They're calculating things incorrectly. So just highly encourage you guys as much as you possibly can, get this stuff in for us.
Hey, Bill,
Um,
before we go any further, can you actually go back to the January 1st slide showing what the new fees will be? We're having a lot of comments about that. Just one more time, people need to see it.
yeah.
There you
Yep.
go.
And we
So
will get this out to you guys in writing right away. It'll be out probably mid next week, but it doesn't go in effect until January 1. So if you're on a plan A, you're going to go up $50. If you're on a plan B, even, you're going to go up $145. But remember, your monthly is going to come down $60. You're not going to be paying that $99 a month. So we ran through this with most people. The ones who at first I thought were going to really be effective are our very high producers. But what really turns out is those high producers are capping anyway. So it's really not that big of a dollar difference even for them. I'd be happy to, if anybody has a question with this, happy to run through your prior year sales, show you exactly what you paid. And then based on this plan, I'll show you a spreadsheet on exactly what you'll pay on the new plan. Is that good enough?
Well, the only other question that came up is the cap. Is the cap changing?
No, cap is not going to change. Cap will still stay at
Cap is going to stay at
9,000.
9,000.
For those of you that don't know, there are a number of people that cap. If you prepay your cap before January 10th, I don't remember what the discount is. It's either $250 or $500 discount. So I think it's either 8,500 or 8,750. And I would have to lean to Teresa to find out what that is. But reach out to me personally if you end up wanting to prepay a cap in January. But no, the cap is not going to change. Where else we go? E&O. The reason I bring up E&O, and I don't have an answer for you right now, I think all of you know we pay an annual E&O fee at $495. I can't promise that that's going to go down, but I'm very, very confident that it's not going to go up. I hope it does go down. And I want to share with you something. We had a couple of our agents that brought this to us, who have been using these guys for a long time. It's a company called Landmark Insurance Group. And I'm gonna butcher his name too. Joe and Frank are two main partners of a local branch in Oak Brook, who, like I said, we've had a number of agents that have been working with them. What they do is they will take your insurance or take your client's insurance and shop it out. What I really love about these guys more than anything is 90 days before your insurance renews. Let's say you have your homeowner's insurance with them. 90 days before your homeowner's insurance renews, they already shop it out for you. Now, I'm pretty good at shopping my insurance, but I always get away from it. I always do it maybe once every other year. These guys do it every single year, and they actually give you a call. And what they're going to do is reach out to each and every one of our agents. If you want to use them, great. If you don't, completely understand. But it's a service. They will ask for, I'm giving them my entire client database. They're going to call my entire client database and say, hey, Bill Flemming from HomeSmart asked us to reach out to you. We've just partnered with them. We're actually reviewing people's insurance to see if we can save them money. Is that something you'd be interested in? Now, we vetted them over the last 60 days because I was a little skeptical. I'm always skeptical with this stuff. So my daughter's homeowners insurance association, if you're with State Farm, first of all, you absolutely want to reach out to one of these guys. There's no question. If you need their contact information, reach out to Sonia, reach out to myself. I believe they are also in our agent directory. My daughter's homeowners association was going to have coverage. Their premium was going to go up. And I happened to be at the meeting. And I said, hey, guys, can I just have somebody take a look at this? Their coverage increased. One of the things that they didn't have was board of directors coverage at all. So the board of directors made a mistake. But their premium dropped nearly 40%. They absolutely love me. They won't do anything with insurance without talking to me. And what's nice about it is every homeowner that was in that meeting is now also tied in with me. A lot of them are calling me individually. So I had my daughter's, this is clients, but this is actually my daughter's personal homeowners. And we presented this at their meeting as well. She got her premium reduced, almost exact same coverage, got her premium reduced by 50%. So we gave them just two of our HomeSmart policies, our workman's comp, which was just coming up for renewal. They reduced our premium by 57%. Our business liability, it only went down by 14.8, but we drastically increased our liability insurance. This is not your E&O. This is our business liability. This is if somebody trips and falls at the office, or we're getting sued because, from a business standpoint, not an errors and omission standpoint, but we did something that was wrong. So our premium went down 14.8%. We anticipate the E&O to, at minimum, stay at the same level. What I'm hoping to see is that we're going to see a drop. And if we see a drop, we will absolutely pass that on to you guys. And like I said, this is what I love the most. They contact every client 60 to 90 days before renewal. They've already shopped their coverage. So they make a call and say, hey, I'm just calling on behalf of Bill Flemming. He asked me to shop your insurance every year, of course. You're with State Farm. Here's what your premium is. We think you should, we've shopped it out. Here's what some of the competitors are. We think you should stay with your coverage. Or we've shopped it out. Here's what your competitors are. We think you should make a move. I just think that's tremendous value. It just gives extra value to me and makes my clients feel like they're looking out for me. So it's a big initiative. You'll see there were 4 of their agents, if you were on the riverboat, 4 of their junior agents that were on there. But Frank and Joe are the 2 that if there's ever a problem, there's somebody that we can reach out to on a regular basis as well. So I hope you guys embrace it. We're investigating a thing called Move Concierge. We've actually signed an agreement with them. And I really, more than anything, I put this on here because I want some of your feedback, and I would love to see if there are any of you that would volunteer to beta test this with us. So this is also more of a customer service thing where this company will call your client, say, hey, I'm calling on behalf of Joe Prindle. I know we're working on moving services. Not sure if you've looked at a local mover. We can move your city electric. We can move your city utilities. We can process your change of address. It's a free fee. What they do is there's a lot of secondary sellers of energy, and that's how companies like that make their money. I used to own one of these companies years ago. They've approached us. We've had some good feedback. We've not yet beta tested them. So if there's anybody that'd be open to doing that, I'd highly encourage, just reach out to myself or reach out to Sonia. I think this is probably one of the last things that are on our agenda. If you haven't already, we've got, I think, 21 people going to Growth Summit. Growth Summit is just a couple of weeks away. I know I've had a couple people last minute ask, hey, can I still get in? Can I still go? It is still open. It's at Talking Stick, October 13th through the 15th. I'm actually there for an extra day because there's some broker owner stuff that I'll be going through. But both Sonia and I will be there, and I think there's 18 or 19 agents besides us that'll be there. If you want to go, again, reach out to myself or reach out to Sonia. These are the speakers. My favorite is this Dr. Elliot Eisenberg. If you're going to this event, don't miss this. He's fantastic. I don't know if any of this will be recorded. If it will, we'll get it back to you. I know they're making some new announcements. There's some new changes being made, some changes being made to the RSA system. If you're not already familiar, there's a virtual assistant module now. I'm sorry, a virtual staging model now on RSA. There's e-signing that's tied in with RSA that's free. And they usually keep a lot of this hidden. I know about a couple of them only because I'm on a franchise advisory committee. So I'm on a committee that advises Matt Widows on a regular basis. Hey, these are some of the things that we're looking for. If you guys have anything, if you're not going to make a conference and there is something that you would like to be brought in front of management or in front of leadership in the conference, please reach out to me, reach out to Sonia, give us the topic. We will put it in front of whoever we can put it in front of and get rolling. Lastly, our goal, we continue to grow market presence geographically and organically. Obviously, going up into Antioch, going up into McHenry, going up into Lake Geneva is a giant geographic and strategic geographic stretch that we just did. Our goal is to have 1,000 brokers by the end of 2026. We are on track to do that based on our current growth, and 1,200 by the end of 27. One of the big things I like to share is we are actively looking at acquisitions. I'm actually personally looking at a couple of acquisitions right now. That's how we grow exponentially. We're already the top dog in the country. I'm sorry, in the Chicagoland area. So I've actually had some of the smaller brokerages, and you'll see there's brokerages like Fathom Realty whose numbers have drastically dropped, especially in Chicago. United Realty, whose numbers have drastically dropped. Charles Rutenberg, who used to have 1,600 agents, is down to, I don't know, 550, something like that. Those are brokerages that they're just not doing things the way that we like to do things. I like to make sure that I'm running these offices, and that's why you'll see us more heavily staffed than any other company, any other 100% company out there. Make sure that we bring more support, more tools than anybody else out there. It's one of the reasons our agents sell more per agent than any other 100% company in Illinois. But those are the kind of companies where if I can acquire them, we grow exponentially. We are just on the heels of number 9 in Chicago. With even a small acquisition, a small good acquisition, we would instantly bump up to probably number 7 or number 8. And that's where you start really getting recognized. So the more recognition we get, the more signs that are out there, the more volume that we're doing, the more activity for you guys, the more business for you guys, and the more easy or the simpler it is for you guys to sell yourself in the HomeSmart name. That's all I got. I've got an hour and 45 minutes in. I will stick around for Q&A. Am I still sharing my screen?
You are still sharing. And the first question we have, do we have any plans for opening more offices in Chicago?
We are actually looking at an acquisition in Chicago right now. So I don't want to say yes because I don't know what that answer is. Chicago we are probably, if we're underperforming anywhere right now at Chicago's a big city. It's easier to break into Arlington Heights. It's easier to break into Lake Geneva. It's easier to break into St. Charles than it is to break into Chicago. So yeah, I mean, we've got 3 locations out there right now. Be honest with you, I need a little bit of a break. Opening up in Antioch, opening up in McHenry, opening up in Lake Geneva. That was a lot. That was a lot of money. It's not inexpensive to open up one of these offices. A lot of stress, a lot of time. And when I talked in the beginning about forming, storming, norming, we're still in that storming and norming. So until we really get into a norming category, I don't think I can properly answer that question. I hope that's fair enough for you.
All right, sorry, I had to unmute myself. And then also, how is Move Concierge different from what we already had?
What did we already have?
Honestly, there was something that I did find document-wise, but it didn't seem like it had been used for years. So I
I
don't think
don't
we've really had anything for the past few years.
I don't know that we've had anything active. Now, there is a possibility that HomeSmart International has been using this Move Concierge for years. It's possible this is the same. If that was something that was on RSA, and I will find out. I honestly don't know, but I know they've been using exactly this company for years.
Heidi did chime in and said that she uses a company called Replace. I know that previously I'd used Updater. Um, they all seem to be basically the same. Yes, it's part of RSA, Replace. So that's interesting that Replace is an RSA when this is the company that franchise wants us to use.
I agree. I agree. I was not
Mhm.
aware of that. Thank you. We'll look into it. I honestly don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
So far, that's all we have for questions.
Get out of
We've
here.
been really good about answering them while they've been coming in, like what's
Oh,
the
good,
cap
good,
and
good.
things
Oh,
like
you
that.
guys are
So
quiet today. Well, perfect. And we finished this in less than an hour. You guys have any questions along the way? Anything that I can help with? Anything that Sony can help with? I always tell people, I know there's a lot of newer people on the call as well. I'm very difficult to get by phone. I'm either in a meeting, on a phone call, or I shut my phone off so that I can focus on something. But if you send me an email, I promise you, I will either call you back, or if I can answer it via email, obviously, I will send it back via email.
I'm very excited about Lake Geneva. This is huge. So I just want to share that if you have been thinking about getting your Wisconsin license, now's the time to do it.
It's interesting. I got a call from the designated managing broker of the Remax in Lake Geneva. And it's really interesting because initially she wanted to partner with us. And I've been open. If we're not in a marketplace, I've been open to partnering. We've done it in the past. I told her I'm absolutely interested. I'd be, especially you're a designated managing broker for Remax. She goes, Bill, if you open a 100% company, 90% of my company is going to leave me anyway. They're going to end up coming over by you. They understand the concept. They get it. And from what we've been saying, you've been recruiting more Remax agents than anybody else in the country. So she kind of ghosted me, to be honest with you. But ironically, after I didn't hear from her for a little bit, I started putting feelers out to all of her agents, and we have a lot of interest from that office. It's an office that I intentionally want to target. There's some other reasons behind that. I think Kevin knows them and Dana knows them. I can't see if that's Dana in the background or not. Um, but yeah, we're focusing hard on growth out there. Compass, I'm told that Compass is going to move. There, if you're familiar with Lake Geneva, right when you come into Highway 50, come into town, there's a Starbucks on your right hand side, and the first thing you see is this giant Compass sign. In fact, I don't think I've ever made that light, so I'm always sitting at that light looking at Compass. Um, that space became available the same time the space that we had came available. Now we're literally a block worth. We're up at the next corner. So that's how I know that Compass is moving. I did some homework to it, and they're actually moving or merging with an office over at Geneva National, which is not even in town. Now, I understand why they're doing it. Well, I should take that back. We're watching Compass very, very closely. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but they just sold 5 or 6 of their North Shore offices to a Remax broker. How the Remax broker is going to hold all those Compass agents, I have no idea. It's a completely different model, but they sold. I want to say it's either 5 or 6 offices. This just came down. I don't know if it's been on the headline. If you guys follow the real estate headlines yet, but then also up in Lake Geneva, now they're consolidating that office with one at Geneva National. Now I understand why they're not going to stay there anymore. I looked at that space from a real estate standpoint. Well, here from a comparison standpoint, our new space, I'm going to be paying $22 or $22.50 a square foot. That space was $38 a square foot. Plus, I believe it was $7 for CAM per square foot and $8.50 for taxes per square foot. So you're talking about, $50, $55 a square foot, 2.5 times what we're paying a block away. So I understand why they looked at moving out of that space. Why they would go to Geneva National, I think it's a big mistake for them, but there has to be something going on within Compass. They're really making a lot of adjusting, downsizing offices and so forth in this area. I, I'm not familiar with their business model. If it has to do with earnings, it probably does. But they're definitely making some changes. If anybody sees anything out with Compass in the marketplace, please let me know.
All right, well, while you were talking, we've had some more questions here come
Bring
up.
them.
So, are you ready for them?
Yeah.
Okay, so some of them are about staff. Some of them are, we have one, will the Bears be moving to Arlington Heights and how will it affect the office?
Yeah, the Bears are moving to Arlington Heights. Ironically, it's funny because somebody asked me, they go, we're going to get some tailgating space. I actually have written into my lease that we get a tailgating spot. Now, keep in mind, our lease in Arlington Heights expires. I think it renews in 3 years. I guarantee, and I know the owner very, very well, I guarantee that's going to come out of our lease. So don't expect to be tailgating or anything like that. I don't know if there's any big benefit there. I mean, certainly it draws attention to our location. Um, the hard part is, will there be a hindrance? Obviously Sunday traffic, you want to stop in the office real quick on Sunday and now all of a sudden you're stuck behind, Chicago Bears traffic. I don't know. I mean, we're 3 or 4 years out on that, so I'm not sure, what'll happen between now and then. So I don't know that there's any huge benefit. I know when they first started talking about going to Arlington Heights, there was um, a lot of talk about, oh my gosh, I should buy a house out here so we can verbo it and all that kind of stuff. And I just don't see that being a big thing. Um, I don't know. You look at the Chicago Stadium where the Blackhawks and the Bulls play. I mean, now that area is turning around, but it was blighted for the longest time. I just don't see people going down. It's not a destination. That's something they hop on the train, they go for the day, they hit the bars a little bit afterwards, and they go home. So I don't know if there's anything big there. I'm sorry. Was there a
Sure,
second part to that question?
sure. No, no, that was it there. Okay, so do we have any plans to hire any more staff? And
Yes.
people have been concerned about, how many people have been leaving the office.
Yeah, yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I know, there was some concern, and like I said, that goes into that storming, in between that storming and norming stage, when you start making changes or you make one change and it trickles onto another. I will tell you the staff that we've hired have all been phenomenal. We are actively looking right now for more staff, front desk or agent services staff. And we're actually actively looking for more doc review staff. Really want to speed up that doc review process as much as we can. Our goal is if you put something in RSA, I'd like to see it reviewed. If you've got 48 hours to put it in there, we should have that reviewed within 48 hours. And you should at least be getting a notice that says, hey, I need this, this, and this, or hey, everything's good. Really appreciate you did a great job, one or the other.
Love it. If you want to go to the Geneva office, do you have to be, can any Illinois agent get into that Lake Geneva office basically once we open it?
Yeah, keep in mind
Yes.
you're not licensed in Wisconsin, so you can't sell in Wisconsin, but can you use the office? Absolutely. Let's say you happen to be just up there for a weekend and you need to fax something, or you decide you want to go in for work for a little bit. I'm up in Williams Bay all the time. I have a place up there, so I'll be in there on a pretty regular basis. But yes, you can use it. No, you cannot sell. Ironically, we had one of our licensed agents in Illinois sell a property in Indiana this year and not realize that they couldn't do it. I shake my head. So just be crystal clear. You cannot sell in Wisconsin unless you're a licensed in Wisconsin, but you're welcome to use the office. Absolutely.
Right, right. Are you targeting the Shore West agents? And so, Carla, just to share, I think you're talking about how the board in Wisconsin, there's South Shore, there's Laura, specifically
No,
Lake Geneva. No.
they're probably talking about, there's actually a company called Shore West.
Oh, is
Ironically,
there?
they're not terribly large in Lake Geneva. They're big in Wisconsin. They're very big in Milwaukee. But they're not.
Got you.
We actually looked at buying that office, gosh, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I think the current owner, they brought in some family member, a younger family member or something like that, that's now running it. So I'm not very well versed with it, but Shore West is
Okay.
not one of the powerhouses in Lake Geneva right now. We're looking at Coldwell Banker, a couple of Keller Williams that are up there. Compass is up there. At Properties is up there. Those are really our targets for Lake Geneva.
Hey, we've got a couple agents asking if we can get a fax machine at the Arlington Heights office.
A fax machine?
Fax machine.
Does anybody fax anymore?
Some attorneys still do.
So we do
Crazy
have a
enough, some
fax machine.
attorneys do.
Our copy machine is a fax machine. You can fax from there. If you don't know how to do it, ask Christina. And we are looking at. I just found out this morning that I guess something happened with the copy machine in Arlington Heights. So we're actively shopping one out. We actually started looking at that a couple of weeks ago. The challenge we have is some of the things that we were looking at were refurbished or used machines. And I'm just not a fan of refurbished or used machines. If we're going to do something, we're going to do it right. And we should. I expect that we'll have a new machine up there in the next couple of weeks. It'll have a stapler and fax capability and all that fun stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, because unfortunately, the machine here is not capable of doing faxing. I'm not quite sure. It just was never set up for it or something along those lines. Um, that's all we have. Would you ever consider opening up an office in North Shore?
No. No, I'll be honest with you. And it's funny because that question has come up a number of different times. The challenge with the North Shore is the price point is so much higher than just about every other community that we're in. It's so much higher that our price point does not work because the liability in that price point is twofold. Our E&O would go up exponentially. You remember when we started allowing commercial, our E&O went up like crazy. We had to change our commercial pricing so that we collect a 10%. And that was just so that the small portion of people that are doing commercial aren't putting a burden on the rest of you guys with E&O skyrocketing. Same thing with North Shore, where you're in an area where your average price point is, $1.2 million, $1.3 million, $1.4 million. We would have to change our pricing structure. We'd have to raise it, exponentially. And I just don't see the math working. I'm open to looking at, Glenview, Northbrook, the edges of the North Shore, but will I ever go to Wilmette, Glencoe, Highland Park? Probably not.
Yeah, I think we need to go south more. Personally, I think we're missing like Lombard and those kinds of areas, like
We
south of
we actually
Shelburne.
own that territory. It's kind of a little secret right now because when you own a territory, you're supposed to open within a certain time frame. We have a very, very good relationship with HomeSmart International. HomeSmart International, like I said, I'm one of a few brokers that are on an advisory committee. If I need a favor from them, I can call Matt. I have his home number. Um, if we need something, they're not afraid to bend for us a little bit because we're one of the big, well, we are the big dog. Um, so I just don't know.
And
I lost my
certainly we
train of
need
thought.
time because, like you said, it's been a busy 2 years.
Yeah,
So
let me
we'll
finish
give you a
Lake
break.
Geneva and then start hitting me with some of this stuff.
Right, right.
We're almost
Right.
there.
Does anybody else have anything?
Yeah, one
I
question.
see on there, where do we find HomeSmart Connection? Oh, somebody already answered that. Yeah, remember it's HomeSmart Connection, not HomeSmart Connections. There's no S. So homesmartconnection.com, there's that agent dashboard. That's been really helpful. That's one of the things we've gotten the most compliments on. I actually love it.
So which offices is Compass selling? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. It just came out. It just hit the news wire 2 days ago. I had surgery actually 2 days ago. I almost canceled this meeting because I was having some reaction to some medication that I had during the surgery. And I'm feeling much better. Thank you all. But I don't know. I heard it the day I was going in for the surgery, and I have not heard details yet. But I could put it out as soon as I know. I could put it on the agent lounge. But it's 4 to 6 offices, and I can't honestly recall which ones.
So is it worth calling some of the people that we know from Compass to see if they're losing, if they're going to go to Remax or what?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I guarantee. Well, part of the challenge, if you know people, absolutely. Part of the challenge with us doing blanket calling is they're getting something like that hits the wire. They're getting called from everybody. They're getting literally 15 calls, a day, and it's probably driving them crazy. So, we'll approach them. We'll approach the ones that are on the edge, the ones that are closer to our Libertyville office, maybe closer to our Arlington Heights office. So Glenview, Northbrook, they're close enough where we've got agents that'll make a change going by us. But yeah, if you know somebody, absolutely, let me know.
Okay. Great job, Bill. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, if that's it, I will wrap it up. If you guys have any other questions afterwards, shoot me an email. I'm always open. I am an open book. I tell people I absolutely want to take care of our folks. I want to run the most top-notch office that we possibly can. And the biggest thing I always tell people on a regular basis is I can't lie because I talk to too many people and I can't ever remember who I lie to. So I will give you the straight story every single time.
Nice.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Perfect timing. 1 hour exactly. Thank you all.
Thanks, Bill.